Let's calculate the stock price for Mastercard. First, we need the market cap, which is 305.9 billion. Next, we need a stock price, which is 304.67. Now we know the shares outstanding because it's a market cap divided by a stock price. Gives you a billion shares outstanding. So what we're going to do today is calculate the value of the company. And the way we do that is we estimate future free cash flows. And then we discount that number back to today's values. And that gives you the value of the entire company. And then we take that number and divide it by the shares outstanding. And that gives us the calculated stock price, what we call the intrinsic value. And we're going to compare it to the actual stock price to see if it's higher or lower. Now we need the actual free cash flows. That's in the financial section in Yahoo under cash flow. And then free cash flows on the bottom. And that's cash that's left over after operating the business. Next, we need net income, which is on the income statement. That's the profit and loss for a given period. And last is revenue, which is also on the income statement. And it's good to take a look at the numbers to see how they move. Everything is increasing for the most part, and there's no negatives, so it should be pretty good getting a value for this company based on these numbers. Now we need to look at the capital structure of Mastercard to see what the discount rate we need to apply to the future cash flows. And the interest they pay on the debt is $224 million. And let's see how much debt they have. We'll go to the balance sheet, the liability section. No current debt, but they do have long-term debt of $8.5 billion. And long-term debt is due after 1 year. And they pay 2.6% interest on their debt. Interest payments are tax deductible, so let's find out their effective tax rate. We'll go back to the income statement. Income before tax is $9.7 billion. And income tax is $1.6 billion. So they pay 17% in taxes. So the cost of debt is actually 2.2%. And they only have 3% of debt in their capital structure, which is really good. Now let's find out the cost of equity, and we need a beta for that, 1.03, which is a pretty good beta. That's the volatility of the stock. And the cost of equity, we use the CAPM model, capital asset pricing model. We get 10.2%. And as you can see, equity is a lot more expensive than debt. Debt is only 2.2%. Equity is riskier. In the event of a default, equity holders are paid after debt holders. So if there was a default, equity holders usually get nothing. So now we need the WACC, the weighted average cost of capital, which is a combination of the cost of debt, 2.2%, and cost of equity, 10.2%. The WACC is 10%, and that's what we're going to use to discount the cash flows by. So we calculated the cash flows for 4 years, and then we did terminal value, which is all the years past year 4. Then we discounted those dollar amounts back to today's value using the WACC. And we get a value of the company of $374 billion. We divide that by 1 billion shares, and we get an intrinsic stock price of $372. It's trading at $305. So it is trading at an 18% discount. We consider this a buy. Let's see, it was trading at around intrinsic value a few months ago, but it dropped a lot from coronavirus. It's come up a bit. So as you know, stocks can trade way higher or way lower than intrinsic value. It's really the stock price is determined by supply and demand of the market. The more people that want to buy a stock, the higher the price goes. The more people that want to sell a stock, the lower the price goes until equilibrium is met. Now, your job as an analyst is to decide, is the future of the company worth more or less than $305? If you think it's worth more, then you buy the stock. If you think it's worth less, then you don't buy the stock. So everyone has their own opinion on the value of a stock. This is my model. It's my opinion. And thanks for watching.